September 2, 1935. Keys in ruin. The Labor Day hurricane of 1935 stands as one of the most powerful and destructive tropical cyclones in United States history. Making landfall in the upper Florida Keys, this Category 5 storm delivered sustained winds estimated at 185 miles per hour, with gusts that possibly reached even higher speeds. The central pressure was measured at 892 millibars, making it the most intense hurricane to strike the U.S. in terms of pressure at landfall, a record that still stands today. The storm struck without modern radar or satellite warnings. Weather forecasting in 1935 relied heavily on barometric readings, visual observations, and telegraphed reports. Though the U.S. Weather Bureau had noted a developing tropical disturbance, the full strength and trajectory of the storm were not accurately understood until it was too late. The hurricane intensified rapidly as it moved across the Bahamas toward the Florida Keys. The Florida Keys were home to a large contingent of World War I veterans working on a federal relief project. These men had been sent by the Federal Emergency Relief Administration as part of the New Deal efforts to combat the Great Depression. Housed in poorly built camps, they were tasked with constructing the Overseas Highway, intended to connect the Keys more efficiently to the Florida mainland. On the day of the storm, several hundred veterans were trapped with little warning or protection. Evacuation efforts were hampered by bureaucratic delays and miscommunications. A rescue train dispatched by the Florida East Coast Railway was delayed by various obstacles, including downed lines and misjudged timetables. It did not reach the camp area until moments before the storm's eye passed over. The train was hit by a massive storm surge and winds that derailed the cars, killing passengers and crew members alike. Of the veterans working in the camps, an estimated 259 lost their lives, along with dozens of local residents. The physical destruction was almost total. Entire communities, from Lower Metacumbe Key to Long Key, were flattened. The storm surge, estimated at over 18 feet in some areas, swept away homes, bridges, and trees. In the aftermath, bodies were found strewn across the landscape or buried in mangroves. The Coast Guard and the American Legion assisted in recovery and burial operations. Mass cremations were held to prevent disease, and reports of decomposing corpses sparked public outrage across the nation. The human toll and government mishandling of the evacuation led to a national scandal. The American Legion conducted an investigation and accused federal agencies of negligence. Public criticism targeted both state and federal officials for failing to adequately prepare or respond to the disaster. President Franklin D. Roosevelt ordered a formal inquiry and later approved changes in the management of veterans camps and disaster response policy. One of the major outcomes of the hurricane was the establishment of the Florida Keys Memorial, also known as the Hurricane Monument, in Isla Morada. Completed in 1937, it honors the lives lost in the storm, particularly the World War I veterans who perished while serving their country in civilian roles. The tragedy also prompted new standards in hurricane monitoring, forecasting, and emergency preparedness. The Weather Bureau invested in improved communication systems, including radio transmissions and enhanced data reporting from coastal observers. From a meteorological perspective, the Labor Day hurricane became a benchmark for studying hurricane intensity, eye structure, and storm surge patterns. The storm's unprecedented strength at landfall contributed to the development of the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale decades later. It also highlighted the need for timely and accurate forecasting, a deficiency that spurred innovation in weather technology over subsequent generations. The Labor Day hurricane of 1935 left a lasting legacy on American disaster policy, meteorology, and public memory. It exposed the vulnerabilities of both physical infrastructure and federal bureaucracy in times of crisis. With over 400 confirmed deaths, it remains one of the deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history. The event serves as a sobering reminder of the power of nature and the importance of coordinated disaster response. Its impact continues to inform modern emergency planning in coastal regions vulnerable to tropical cyclones. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.